Getting my first remote job completely changed the course of my life. It is the only reason why I've been able to travel so much. So if you want a remote job too, which I assume you do because you're on this video, I'm gonna share the story of how I got my first remote job, places you can look for remote jobs, my resume tips because there are things you need to do a little differently, and I'll also talk about some skills that you can acquire and how to get those skills if you are breaking into this space. And I'll also share more about what skills are very helpful to have if you want to find remote work, especially for those of you who might feel like you don't have the right experience. You can definitely get it. You do not need a degree to do what I do. So we're gonna get into all of that. And if you're new here, my name is Raimee. I run the travel accounts on Instagram and TikTok, Raimee Travel, where I share tips to help you travel smarter and for less, and remote work is a huge way to do that. Okay, so here's a short version of the long story of how I got my first remote job. I have always been obsessed with travel, at least since I was 14 years old, and in college I had started following a bunch of travel bloggers, The Blonde Abroad, Nomad Matt, Onika the Traveler. These were my OG travel inspirations, and I was just obsessed with them. I would read their blogs all the time. I was following them on Instagram, and I desperately wanted to figure out a way that I could travel the world, even though I had no money at the time. But I was in college. I did the typical study abroad, but I was at Michigan State University at the time. I traveled here and there as much as I could with super budget travel tips, thanks to Nomadic Matt. But I still didn't think it would ever be possible for travel or remote work to become my life. Remote work wasn't even really a thing back then. So I graduated from college. I got a in-office job at an ad agency in Detroit, Michigan, and I worked there for 2 years and I did not like it. A couple months before I graduated, I had noticed that Nomadic Matt posted a Facebook post. Remember Facebook? It was on his page that he was hiring for a community manager, which would be someone that would maintain his Facebook group pages for all of the people in his blogging courses and the people that were a part of his travel community. He was hiring someone to manage those pages, write to people, maybe write some social media or blog content from time to time. And I just thought, this is my dream job. I need to work for Nomadic Matt and I need to find a way to make this happen. So I commented on the post, this is my dream job. I just applied and sent in an application and I ended up getting an interview. And I went through 3 rounds of interviews. I made it to the final round, which would be me talking to Matt, who was like my travel hero at the time. And we went on Zoom together and I completely bombed the interview and he didn't hire me. So story's over, end of the video, bye. Just kidding, but obviously that could have been the end of the story, which is so crazy to me that it's not. But yeah, I didn't get the job when I first applied. So I ended up graduating and got a normal office job right after school in kind of a marketing related role, but still had nothing to do with what I currently do now in remote work. And again, okay, long story short, I ended up running into Nomadic Matt again, not running into, but intentionally going to an event that he was speaking at and going up to him and saying, hey, do you remember me? You interviewed me 2 years ago. Do you have any jobs open now? I have some more experience in marketing. And he said, actually, yeah, we're hiring for a part-time Pinterest marketing specialist. Do you have experience in that? And I said, yes, of course, I would love to help you with that. I did not have experience in Pinterest marketing, but I knew that I could figure it out. A couple weeks later, after me persistently following up, he ended up hiring me and I started part-time with him while I still had my office job until the job with him turned into a full-time role where I was not only just doing Pinterest, but I was doing all of his social media management. And maybe you're thinking, well, Raimee, how did you learn Pinterest? I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos and I thought, well, I use Pinterest. I know what looks good on Pinterest. And I kind of just figured it out on the job. And that is the point with so many of these like remote content marketing, social media roles. You really just learn by doing. And that's why my first recommendation to you is going to be build a little portfolio for yourself with mock projects for either a personality, online personality that you like, a brand that you like, a company that you like. Act as if you were their marketing manager or their social media manager, their graphic designer, and make mock projects for them and put those on your portfolio. It doesn't matter if it was real work or not. It's work that you did that you can show to a potential employer. Canva makes it so easy to do this. You do not need graphic design skills. You know what looks good. I know what looks good, and Canva makes it really easy. I wish this was sponsored by Canva, but I don't have enough YouTube subscribers for that yet, but maybe one day. Canva is just so great, and it has helped me do literally every single remote job I've ever done thanks to Canva, because I don't know graphic design other than what I can do in that platform. So I know you can do it too. So that's how I got my first remote job. Honestly, it was going to an event where I knew there would be people that I was inspired by and someone that I could potentially work for, putting myself out there, asking for a job and figuring out the job on the spot, really just knowing that I could do it and learn it, and maybe a little white lie or two. I think that's totally fine, especially if you have the work ethic to then deliver, okay? That is the most important part. And that job really opened up so many opportunities for me, that first remote job. It got me experience working in the travel industry, meeting so many people in the travel industry through that job, going to other travel events as a part of that job, working from all over the world. I worked in New York and Paris. I did a backpacking trip through Europe where I brought my laptop and was going from hostel to hostel doing work for Nomadic Matt. It was quite possibly the best job I've ever had. And from there, I kept growing my skills too. And that brings me to my next point that I want to share with you. What kind of skills can you start trying to acquire to get remote work? The main ones I would recommend would be any type of digital marketing, including like SEO, content marketing, social media. Those are all things that I've done and things that I started with. Graphic design and video editing is also great, especially now. So many people are doing video. Then there's web development and coding. Both of those things take a little bit more time to get good at. You can do online boot camps and stuff, but could be cool, and definitely a lot of remote work possibilities. If you can write quippy, witty things, copywriting is so great. Content creation of any kind. Project management also is huge. If you don't actually have marketing skills or don't want marketing skills, project management is a huge asset to have, and it's frequently a remote job. You just need to be a very organized person, someone that can manage calendars, keep people on top of their tasks, that kind of thing. Same thing with virtual assistants. I know a lot of people who have virtual assistant businesses, and they just help other entrepreneurs, content creators, and businesses with managing their inbox, their calendar, all of that kind of thing. And then also customer service and sales are also great remote role options. And you can get a lot of these skills for free. If you're starting from zero, just go to one of these listing like courses. I've taken some of these courses to brush up on my skills and learn my skills. Go to these free courses. And even if you don't know where you want to start, this could be great to just poke around and see what interests you the most. Now you have the skills, or you're starting to get the skills. Where do you find remote jobs? I found that first one on a Facebook page, which might not be that common, although I will say you should follow your favorite content creators and entrepreneurs, because those people do hire all the time. They need full teams. I hope that I can one day hire someone full time. That would be a dream. But aside from that, here are some websites where you can find fully remote work from anywhere. And I actually found my next couple of remote jobs on Flex Jobs. I found another one on remote.co, and the one that I'm currently in, I found on LinkedIn. All of these jobs, though, I will say I went a little bit extra and reached out to either the hiring manager or the co-founder or the CEO directly via email or via LinkedIn to say, hey, I applied. Here's the skills I have. Here's why I would be a great fit. Would love to at least get a little interview with you. And I do think you need to go the extra mile now, especially if you don't have a personal referral that you can get. If you can get a personal referral, that's even better. Or if you can go to some kind of networking event or conference where you can meet the people that would work at these companies or could give you a referral that you can get in front of. These are some conferences that I would recommend, especially if you want to get involved in the travel industry at all or work for a travel creator or a travel brand. All of these conferences are so great for that. And those costs can add up, but one conversation you have at one of those events, one person that you meet could completely alter the rest of your life. That's what happened to me, and so crazy to think about. So I know it sounds a little like woo-woo, but it's so true. So I know it can be overwhelming and seem like a lot of money, but it could also change your life and get you to a role that you love and to a place that you want to be. Okay, now for resume tips, right? Because I did mention, I think your remote work resume needs to be slightly different, and it needs to touch on certain things that office job resumes might not touch on. One of those would be that you have experience with remote projects. And remember, you can make your own portfolio of these projects or volunteer with something nearby, a small business near you, a family member or a family friend or a friend. Volunteer to do some type of remote work for them and put that on your resume. Also, you want to have some technical skills, so it can be good to have skills related to video editing, graphic design. I would make sure that on your resume you list whatever platforms and programs that you can work with. Of course, communication skills and making sure some of your bullet points cover off on the fact that you're a great communicator, you can handle projects well, you can be a self-starter. for. And yeah, the self-motivation and time management, you might want to touch on those elements within the resume as well. If you want my resume template, I linked it below, and it kind of walks you through what should go in each area. It wastes no space, which is also something you want to do. Keep your resume to one page if you can. Now I want to talk a little bit about getting a job in the travel industry, because those jobs come with a lot of travel perks. And if your goal with remote work is to travel more, look into travel companies. These are some of my favorite travel companies that I know hire for remote roles from time to time. So keep an eye on those. Subscribe to their newsletter, follow them on social media. They will post and share about when they're hiring. And this reminds me of another point I wanted to mention. Smaller companies and startups tend to be better for remote work in my experience. They have less rules. They usually let you be more flexible about when and where you're working from. And although they might not have the big flashy benefits and like full health insurance and like a gym stipend and all of those other things, the payoff comes in the flexibility that they often have, and also ease of entry. They're easier to get into because they're not as competitive as if you wanted to work for Microsoft or Facebook or something like that. So back to the travel industry, there's so many roles in this industry. It doesn't have to just be content or marketing related. You could be an accountant, you could be doing data analysis, you could be writing, doing public relations, sales, customer service, just looking into travel brands, travel companies, tourism boards, PR agencies that represent travel brands. Think outside the box. Like, there's a lot of things related to travel, and there are so many jobs, airlines. And when you work for an airline, you get so many cool perks. I would love to work for Delta one day. Hi, Delta. And truly, I have to close this video out with just reminding you of the power of networking. I would not be in any of these places without me going to events, putting myself out there, talking to people, honestly, just starting a Instagram page or some kind of social media page where you start networking with other people online in your interest group can be completely life-changing. I talk to people all the time in my DMs now about helping them find jobs from people I know, or they've helped me find jobs or connect my friends with jobs. Like, just putting yourself out there however it is you feel most comfortable, or actually however you don't feel comfortable. Go do the thing that makes you uncomfortable, because that's probably gonna pay off the most. I hated making videos at first online, and I still do. I've recorded this one like 5 times in a row, but putting myself out there has been the biggest payoff of my life. Same thing with going to those conferences that I mentioned earlier. And don't be shy, reach out to other people that are working remotely. They'll share their advice with you, like I'm sharing my advice with you now. Having the freedom to do my job from anywhere has literally opened up the world for me. And I know that you can do it too, because I did it too. I didn't take a course that I had to pay for, at least, and I didn't hire some guru to teach me this. I just did it myself, and I know that you can do it too. Also, really quick, I want to mention this laptop that I got. This is the HP OmniBook, and it's powered by AMD Ryzen AI, which means it's super fast. So I bring this with me whenever I'm remote working. It also has a touch screen and 21 hours of battery life. Plus, it's really light, so I love taking it with me to work remotely. It also has Copilot AI built in, so you can ask it questions, help you do remote work, help you manage your tasks. This thing helps me multitask better. I love it. They didn't ask me to put this in this video, but I've just been loving it so much, I wanted to mention it, and I linked where you can get a laptop like this below as well. So remember, start learning those skills if you don't have them. Build a strong portfolio and use Canva because it'll make it look pretty. Start putting yourself out there and building up your network. And do not be discouraged if it takes time. Like this, it did not fall into my lap, even though maybe it seems like that sometimes. This was years and years and years in the making, since probably, I don't even know. This was probably a decade in the making to get to where I am now. So it does take time, but you can probably do it faster than me because there's a lot more resources now. Please let me know if you have any questions below. The perks of me having a small YouTube audience is that I will respond to any question you have. Let me know if you want to have specific information on remote work, if you want to learn more about my journey into Instagram and TikTok, content creation, anything. I am an open book. I will share it all with you. Just leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.